Azerbaijan, a strategic nation at the crossroads of East and West. Azerbaijan is a country located at the crossroads of Eastern Europe and Western Asia in the South Caucasus region. Covering approximately 86,600 square kilometers, Azerbaijan shares borders with Russia to the north, Georgia to the northwest, Armenia to the west, and Iran to the south. It also has a brief border with Turkey via the Nakhchivan Autonomous Republic, an exclave of Azerbaijan, through a 15-kilometer border. To the east, Azerbaijan's coastline stretches along the Caspian Sea, the world's largest inland body of water, which plays a crucial role in the country's economy and geopolitics. The country has a population of over 10 million people, with Baku, the capital city, being the largest and most economically significant. Azerbaijan is ethnically diverse, with Azerbaijanis forming the majority, along with minorities. The official language is Azerbaijani. Azerbaijan's history dates back thousands of years, with archaeological evidence of ancient human settlements. Throughout its history, the country has been part of various empires, including the Safavid Empire, the Ottoman Empire, and the Russian Empire. The Safavid Empire, established in the early 16th century by ethnic Azerbaijanis who came to Iran during the Seljuk Empire, played a crucial role in shaping Azerbaijan's historical and cultural identity. In 1918, Azerbaijan declared its independence, establishing the Azerbaijan Democratic Republic, the first secular democratic state in the Muslim world. However, this independence was short-lived as the country was incorporated into the Soviet Union in 1920. The Soviet era was a difficult and tragic time for Azerbaijan and its people. After Azerbaijan was incorporated into the Soviet Union in 1920, the communist regime implemented harsh policies that repressed national identity, religion, and political dissent. The Azerbaijani people, like many other ethnic groups across the Soviet Union, suffered greatly under the rule of Joseph Stalin and subsequent Soviet leaders. During the Stalinist purges in the 1930s, thousands of Azerbaijani intellectuals, political leaders, and cultural figures were persecuted, imprisoned, or executed as part of a broader campaign to eliminate any opposition to Soviet rule. The regime targeted anyone suspected of nationalist tendencies or of inspiring resistance against communist ideology. Poets, writers, academics, and government officials who advocated for Azerbaijan's national identity and independence were among the victims. In addition to the Stalinist purges, World War II brought immense suffering to Azerbaijan. The country played a crucial role in the Soviet war effort, providing oil that fueled the Soviet army. More than 600,000 Azerbaijanis were drafted into the Soviet army to fight against Nazi Germany. Of those, around 300,000 Azerbaijanis lost their lives in the war, a devastating blow to the nation. Many others were injured or captured during the conflict. One of the most significant events during Soviet repression was the massacre of Azerbaijani protesters in 1920, when many were killed while resisting the Red Army's occupation of Azerbaijan. The resistance movements against the Soviets continued in various forms but were brutally suppressed by the regime. Throughout the decades of Soviet control, thousands of Azerbaijanis lost their lives either through execution, imprisonment, or forced labor in gulags for resisting the communist regime. By the time of Stalin's death in 1953, the Azerbaijani population had been deeply scarred by decades of Soviet repression and the enormous losses of World War II. Despite this, the spirit of resistance remained alive, and later generations continued to strive for independence, which was finally achieved in 1991 with the collapse of the Soviet Union. Since then, the country has experienced significant political, economic, and social development. It has emerged as a modern republic with a growing economy, driven by its strategic location, abundant natural resources, particularly oil and gas, and its access to the Caspian Sea, which is a major route for energy exports. Azerbaijan is a country with a deep cultural heritage shaped by centuries of interaction between various civilizations, including Turkic, Persian, Russian, and Islamic influences. Azerbaijani culture is a unique blend of East and West, reflected in its architecture, music, cuisine, and traditions. One of Azerbaijan's most well-known cultural treasures is its traditional Mugham music, which has been recognized by UNESCO as a masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity. Mugham is a complex form of vocal and instrumental music, deeply rooted in Azerbaijani folklore and history. Azerbaijani cuisine is another important aspect of the country's culture. It features a variety of flavors, heavily influenced by Middle Eastern and Central Asian culinary traditions. Azerbaijan's geographic location not only enhances its importance in global trade and energy security but also positions it as a strategic geopolitical player. The country plays a balancing act between its neighbors, including Russia, Iran, and Turkey, while maintaining strong ties with the West. Its role as a transit hub for energy and goods, combined with its recent territorial victories, ensures that Azerbaijan remains an essential part of the economic and political landscape in both regional and global contexts. Azerbaijan's economy is one of the most dynamic in the South Caucasus, largely driven by its vast natural resources, especially oil and gas. While efforts to diversify the economy are underway, hydrocarbons remain central to Azerbaijan's economic activity. In terms of macroeconomic indicators, Azerbaijan's gross domestic product, GDP, is approximately $75 billion with a GDP per capita of around $7,500. The country has managed to keep inflation relatively low, averaging around 4 to 5% in recent years, while the unemployment rate remains steady at around 5 to 6%. Azerbaijan's currency is the Azerbaijani manat (AZN), and despite external economic shocks, the country has shown moderate economic growth. The oil and gas industry remains the backbone of Azerbaijan's economy, accounting for about 40% of GDP and nearly 90% of total exports. Azerbaijan has some of the world's oldest oil-producing areas and its largest oil fields, including the Azeri Chirag Ganashli (ACG) field and the Shah Deniz gas field, making it a major energy exporter. Beyond energy, the construction sector contributes around 10% of GDP, driven by public infrastructure projects, particularly in Baku, and the development of pipelines, highways, and urban areas. Agriculture, though contributing only around 5% of GDP, plays a critical role in employing a large portion of Azerbaijan's rural population. The country produces crops such as cotton, fruits, vegetables, and tea. The government has prioritized the development of the non-oil sector, which now makes up roughly 60% of GDP, with manufacturing, petrochemicals, tourism, and renewable energy being key areas of focus. When it comes to exports, Azerbaijan's economy is heavily dependent on oil and gas. Crude oil alone accounts for about 75 to 80% of total exports, with natural gas and petroleum products making up the rest. Non-oil exports, such as agricultural products, fruits, vegetables, and cotton, and chemicals, are a smaller but growing part of the economy. Azerbaijan's main trading partners include several major countries such as Italy, Turkey, Russia, China, Germany, and Georgia. Italy is the largest importer of Azerbaijani oil, making it Azerbaijan's biggest trading partner. Turkey is a key partner for both energy exports, facilitated by the Trans-Anatolian Natural Gas Pipeline (TNAP), and trade in various goods. Russia is a major partner, particularly for agricultural and industrial goods, while Azerbaijan imports machinery and consumer goods from Russia. China has increased trade relations with Azerbaijan, largely through the Belt and Road Initiative, with oil and agricultural products being key exports. Germany is another important trade partner, particularly for oil exports and the exchange of industrial goods. Georgia, Azerbaijan's neighbor, is a significant transit route for energy exports and engages in cross-border trade in various sectors. Tourism is one of Azerbaijan's fastest-growing sectors, and the government has prioritized its development as part of its broader economic diversification strategy. Azerbaijan's unique location between Europe and Asia, its rich history, and its stunning natural landscapes have made it an attractive destination for international tourists. The country is also known for its centuries-old traditions in carpet weaving. Azerbaijani carpets, renowned for their intricate designs and craftsmanship, are considered national symbols and have been included in UNESCO's list of intangible cultural heritage. Festivals such as Nowruz Bayram, the Azerbaijani New Year celebrated during the spring equinox, remain an integral part of Azerbaijani cultural life, representing renewal, nature, and unity. This festival highlights Azerbaijan's deep historical ties to the wider region. Azerbaijan's strategic location at the crossroads of Eastern Europe and Western Asia has historically made it a key player in regional and international trade. This geographic importance has only grown in modern times as Azerbaijan lies at the heart of significant trade routes and energy corridors connecting Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. One of the most crucial aspects of Azerbaijan's geographic advantage is its role in the revival of the ancient Silk Road, an historic trade route that linked the East and West. Today, Azerbaijan is a key part of the modern Silk Road, known as the Trans-Caspian International Transport Route. This corridor links China to Europe via Central Asia, the Caucasus, and Turkey, and it includes Azerbaijan as a central transit hub. Goods move through Azerbaijani territory by road, rail, and sea across the Caspian Sea, making it an essential player in the logistics of global trade. Azerbaijan is also a vital player in the global energy market, thanks to its vast reserves of oil and natural gas. The country's energy exports are transported through major pipelines that link Azerbaijan to global markets. The Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan (BTC) pipeline, one of the longest in the world, transports oil from the Caspian Sea to the Mediterranean port of Ceyhan in Turkey, providing a crucial alternative route to the heavily congested Bosphorus Strait. Similarly, the Southern Gas Corridor, which includes the Baku-Tbilisi-Erzurum pipeline and the Trans-Anatolian Natural Gas Pipeline (TNAP), delivers natural gas from Azerbaijan's Shah Deniz field to Europe. This helps diversify Europe's energy supply and reduce dependence on Russian gas. In addition to energy exports, Azerbaijan's access to the Caspian Sea makes it a vital maritime route for trade. The country's major ports, such as the port of Baku, serve as important gateways for goods moving between Europe, Central Asia, and the Middle East. The Caspian Sea itself acts as a transportation hub, facilitating trade with Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, and Russia. However, Azerbaijan's geographic importance is also tied to the long-standing Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, which has been one of the most significant challenges the country has faced since its independence. The conflict, which began in the late 1980s, centered around the Nagorno-Karabakh region, a territory internationally recognized as part of Azerbaijan but with the existence of large ethnic Armenian residents. Following the collapse of the Soviet Union, Armenia and Azerbaijan fought a brutal war over the region, resulting in Armenian forces occupying Nagorno-Karabakh and several surrounding Azerbaijani territories by the early 1990s. This occupation led to the displacement of nearly 1 million Azerbaijanis, who became refugees and internally displaced persons. IDPs are forced to flee Nagorno-Karabakh and the 7 surrounding districts that were under Armenian control. For nearly 3 decades, diplomatic efforts to resolve the conflict failed, and the region remained a frozen conflict. However, in 2020, the situation dramatically changed when Azerbaijan launched a military operation to reclaim its lost territories during the Second Nagorno-Karabakh War. The conflict lasted 44 days, during which Azerbaijan made significant territorial gains, recapturing key areas around Nagorno-Karabakh, including the strategically important cities of Shusha and Fuzuli. The war ended with a Russia-brokered ceasefire in November 2020, under which Armenia agreed to withdraw from the occupied territories, while Russian peacekeepers were deployed to oversee the situation in Nagorno-Karabakh. Azerbaijan's victory in the conflict restored its territorial integrity and marked a turning point in the region. This victory also offered hope for the return of hundreds of thousands of displaced Azerbaijanis to their homes after decades of exile. Baku, the capital, is the country's tourism hub. The city's blend of modern architecture, such as the iconic Flame Towers and the Haydar Aliyev Center, with its ancient historical sites, including the Old City, Ichirusha, has drawn visitors from around the world. The Caspian Sea coastline and luxury resorts also attract many tourists seeking relaxation and recreation. The country's diverse landscapes, ranging from the Caucasus Mountains in the north to the coastal plains along the Caspian Sea, make it a popular destination for ecotourism and adventure tourism. Visitors can explore the mountain villages like Lahij and Kinalug, which offer a glimpse into Azerbaijan's rich traditions and culture. Azerbaijan's historic significance is highlighted by its inclusion of 2 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, the walled city of Baku with the Maiden Tower and Shirvanshah's Palace, as well as Gobustan rock art cultural landscape featuring ancient petroglyphs. The Formula One Azerbaijan Grand Prix and Eurovision Song Contest 2012 helped to boost Azerbaijan's international profile as a tourism destination, further encouraging growth in the sector. Azerbaijan's geographic location along important trade routes such as the modern Silk Road, the Trans-Caspian International Transport Route, and its vital role as an energy supplier through major pipelines like the Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan (BTC) oil pipeline and the Southern Gas Corridor, enhances its importance in global markets. As Azerbaijan continues to diversify its economy, its role in international trade and regional economic cooperation is expected to grow.